Hey everybody, welcome to this edition of the Atheist Experience. We are live. Today's Sunday, May 9th, 2010. It's Mother's Day, so happy Mother's Day.
Hi, Mom.
Well, yeah, it's a good time. Yeah. I'm Matt Dillahunty. Joining me this week, Jeff D. Welcome back.
Thank you.
How are you?
Good. I'm good.
We're generally good.
Well rested, ready to go.
Cool. Jeff's been eager to go since about 15 minutes before we got on the air. And since neither of us brought in anything specific to talk about, we'll probably jump into calls just as soon as the announcements are done. And I'm going to make them relatively quick. I know that last week Russell mentioned the AC elections were held. The information about that's available at the website. The Atheist Experience is a weekly call-in live television program out of Austin, Texas, sponsored by the Atheist Community of Austin. You can find out more about the show by visiting the show's website, www.atheist-experience.com. And you can find out more about the ACA by visiting our website, www.atheist-community.org. There's a frequently asked questions page there, as well as other ways to communicate, message boards, Yahoo lists. If you don't get through on the phones today, or if you don't want to, you can email tv@atheist-community.org, and that goes to myself, the co-host, some of the people behind the scenes. In addition to this program, the ACA also sponsors what is supposed to be a bi-weekly internet audio podcast, which is currently on hiatus. It's the Nonprofits, PROPHETS. You can go to nonprofitsradio.com for more information. Right now, all we're trying to do is figure out the best day for us to do it, because I now have Saturday conflicts and there's other scheduling things. The show is not dead. It's not gone. We're just in a transitional phase to get back to what we had before. And I'll make an announcement here just as soon as we're ready to start pumping out new episodes of that podcast. And in addition to the programs, the ACA also sponsors a bunch of activities throughout the week and month, including an Atheist Happy Hour at the Dog and Duck on Thursdays beginning around 7 o'clock. And after this program's over, we get together for dinner at at Threadgill's, 301 West Riverside Drive. We're on the air till 6 o'clock. We'll be down at Threadgill's around 6:30. The reason I mentioned Romeo's is because we have Sunday brunches every Sunday except for the first Sunday of the month at Romeo's on Barton Springs Road. And the first Sunday of the month is reserved for our lecture series, although last week's was the elections instead. Next Sunday, we will not be at Romeo's. So if you're used to coming down to Romeo's for brunch, instead, we will be at the Capitol here in Austin for the rally to give a little feedback to the State Board of Education that has been systematically destroying public education in Texas and around the United States, because what happens in Texas doesn't stay in Texas, unfortunately. May 16th at 11 o'clock, we'll be down there along with Texas Freedom Network, American Atheists, tons and tons of people from all sorts of different groups to stand in unison in protest against what the State Board of Education is doing. It should be a great rally, and we'd like to see as many people down there as possible. In addition to all of that, I have nothing.
You're adding zero.
I didn't bring my actual notebook that has my list of things that we should hit on. So how have you been, apart from good today?
I am doing well. Working on a secret project with a partner of mine from years and years and years ago that I can't talk about.
Great.
Very, very busy.
Secret projects.
Yeah.
Okay. I don't know what else anybody had to say. If I missed an announcement, you feel free to let me know or call in or whatever else. But we might as well go ahead and get started taking calls right off the way. We've got, is it Luca in New York?
Yeah, hello. What's up, Matt?
How you doing?
Hey, Luca.
Very good. I already called once, maybe a month ago, and I wrote you an email last week.
Mm-hmm.
And I basically have a story I'd like to share with you guys. But first, I have a basic question. I know I've looked up the New Testament when the actual timing of it being written, and I get the impression that it wasn't written any time before 50, 60 AD. That's the earliest it was written. But do you know of any reliable source? Can you point me in the direction of some book or some website about that? Because I want to be able to, when dismantling a Christian's belief about it being an actual testimony, I want to know what I'm talking about.
Well, that'd be good. There's not a book that's leaping to mind, and actually probably one of the best things you can do. There used to be a website called earlychristianwritings.com, but I think it's been taken down, and that had a really good list of scholarly dates that had footnotes and stuff. Actually, if you go to, I hate sending it here right off the bat, but if you go to the Wikipedia articles for each of the books in the New Testament, they're fairly well sourced. At the bottom of the page, there'll be links to a lot of different books. The problem is there's not a great deal of agreement on when the books were written, and you're going to have arguments. The scholars who are reliably dating, for example, the Gospels to 70 AD after, you're going to find objections from Christians who are saying, well, the reason they dated that is because it mentions, the fall of Jerusalem, and that happened in 72 AD, I think. And
right.
So they dated after that, when really it was written before that, and it was prophetic. Right. It's something that you're not going to resolve. There's a bunch of good resources. We have some book recommendations on the website, or we did have, and if not, I can look at putting together some of the ones that I've used. This thing's going to drive me nuts.
The reason I ask is because you know the guy. You debated him and kicked his ass. Matt Slick, I think.
Yeah.
He's old for religious and whatnot. But I checked on his website, and he says, contrary to what some atheists say, it's very possible that it might have been written as early as 50 AD. And okay, that's still 20 years after Jesus was dead. And still, my question is, where does he, does he just pull that figure out of his ass? And if he's pulling it out of his ass, what does he just say 31 AD, as long as he's making it up? I was hoping there was some kind of, tangible reason to believe that one way or the other.
Can we recommend the Who Wrote the Bible books? Want to mention those?
Except that I don't have the info on it at the moment. One thing though that I'll recommend, and we can do some of this in email. For some reason, this thing's showing up as battery power, so it keeps dimming, even though it's plugged in.
Right.
So I don't know what's going on. One of the things that I'll recommend is that you avoid it entirely, because it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter if it was written by actual disciples the day after it happened. It's still not sufficient to claim that the events took place. It's still not sufficient justification that any miracle actually occurred. And one of the best examples, or one of my favorite examples, is that there are people that you can go talk to right now you can talk to the actual person who claims to have been abducted by aliens. Now, this is obviously a firsthand testimony in this case, and yet, despite the fact that you have firsthand testimony that you can investigate and their stories are remarkably similar and share a lot of details, people generally don't believe them. So given that we have no idea who the authors of the Gospels were, we have no good indication of exactly when they were written. Most scholars don't hold that they were written by eyewitnesses. They don't read as if they were written by eyewitnesses. What reason does anybody have to have in order to claim that we should pay attention to what they say? And even if they were written by eyewitnesses right after the events, that's still not enough. It's no different from talking to alien abductees.
Right. All right. Well, do you want me to share my story with you guys?
Sure.
Do you know about this group called Alpha?
No.
It's basically they sell themselves as let's explore philosophically the meaning of life. It's just a washed up biblical indoctrination kind of thing. But I did go to one of their meetings right next to my house, is where they happened to meet, and I was obviously the only atheist in the forum discussing stuff, and I told, I was kind of counting on them not really knowing much about the Bible, like many Christians don't, and I basically went on to tell them, there's so many horrible things in the Quran. They talk about, stabbing pregnant women in the stomach, and they talk about raping, all the stuff that is actually in the Old Testament. Yeah. And, and they were all really shocked. And they said, "Oh my God, see, this is exactly why, it's better to be a Christian than a Muslim." And they went on forever about that. And then, the instant I told them, actually, this is from Exodus, this is from, all that. And it was the most amazing 180-degree turn. Oh, no, this is that's the Old Testament. That doesn't count. And actually, I mentioned, oh yeah, this is actually from the first half of the Quran, though. It's not from the second half. Most because I was expecting them to, you know what I mean? Like say the whole Old Testament doesn't count thing, and yeah. So
Sounds like a good time.
yeah.
Well, great.
Well,
That sounded like it was a lot of fun and something we probably should have done. Hey, that looks like it's working now. Thanks.
Awesome.
Well, thanks for calling. I'm going to go ahead and get on some other callers real quick.
all right. Take care.
Cheers.
Bye, Luca.
All right. Bye.